Hello, everybody, and welcome to Dork Tales. Today we are doing a special creator stream with D from Onyx Path. And if you haven't noticed, this is about the new game Curseborn.
Yes.
D, do you mind tell us about it?
Yeah, well, I can only tell you what I have found out myself, which is that I got a manuscript, and when I say I got it, I found it in my so I have, if I could show you like the nesting of documents that I do for my everything. But I have like a writing folder and then a contract folder and then Onyx Path and then, Exalted, and then, I am the, Exalted over developer. And then within that, I've got abyssals, and then I've got, so it's like extremely nested, right? And I often stick around in the Onyx Path folder, and the folders pop up on the left side of my, search bar. I'm using Windows, and I just have this thing where I often don't ever go into like the contract section or whatever. But I did the other day because I was doing something for Cephalofair, and I found just like it's literally Z.
Okay.
That is the name of the folder, and I opened it up, and it had a Curseborn folder, and when I opened that up, it had an entire manuscript.
Really? Just like hanging out in that folder?
Just hanging out in that folder, and files super old. So I don't know where it came from. I don't know how it got there, but I have been reading it, and I have been I've been feeling really compelled that it's a cool game. So at this point, I think I've convinced Rich that we might as well just make it because of all the other weird shit that's been going on. So we're doing that. And, I'm not going to trust whatever bullshit just shows up on my computer. So we need to play test it. So now we've got some people, you included, and we're going to make some characters.
Okay, that sounds cool. So what do I need for this? What do I need to know?
Well, you need I sent you the character creation chapter.
Yes.
And I sent you the stuff about primals.
Yeah, which actually, this looks like stuff that I've been receiving in my email for a while. So I think this
really?
Yeah, I've been posting about it on Twitter for a while, and I talked about it, well, X, I guess. And I was talking about it a bit on stream, but yeah, like a couple of people have been receiving like some pretty weird stuff over the past few months. And a lot of this is looking like some of the fiction in here looks pretty identical. It's cool. Not spooky,
that is,
but cool.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder, I don't know. I'm not going to speculate about ghosts or weirdness, because that's just, ghosts are silly, right? So I am going to say that like character creation should be pretty easy. This was already using Storypath Ultra. I don't know. Anyway, Storypath Ultra is pretty easy.
Okay.
So you're gonna put together a character based on 3 paths, just like Storypath.
Okay.
And you're gonna start with the type of not bad guy, monster you are. I think this is a game about being monsters, about being cursed. Okay. And the primal is what we're doing, and so that's going to be your first path.
Sure.
As just you're a primal.
Primal, that makes sense. Okay, so I'm guessing these guys, from what you sent me, they look like, to summarize it really quickly, they're like shifters, werewolves, people with animals in them or something in them.
The game calls it the creature.
The creature, yeah.
The creature, okay. Yeah.
So, and there are a bunch of different types of these, so it's not like you're just like like with Werewolf the Forsaken, you're playing a werewolf. In this, you're doing something really different. You're all sorts of different types. And I was looking through, and there are a couple that like looked really cool. I mean, there's everything in here from like cat creatures or cat primals. And they were called. Do you remember off the top of your head the cat ones were called the Sphinxes, I think?
Sphinxes, yeah.
Yeah, so, but there were two that really jumped out at me. One is, of course, the lichens, because like and subscribe, by the way.
Yes.
The Leica, which of course are the traditional werewolves, and I'm a huge werewolf as a game and as a concept is probably my favorite type of monster. So I love that, but there's also something in here called a hide, which appears to be very much like it's giving me like League of Extraordinary Gentlemen type of vibes.
Okay,
Right?
yeah,
Like,
I can see that.
like testing abilities and like hubris and being this kind of like Prometheus Unbound type of monster.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
don't know which one of those sounds cooler to take a peek at.
You know, I've seen the lichens played, the Get Up Leica.
Okay.
And so I think you should maybe do a hide. I think that
All right.
that's such a unique concept of being a, you know, yeah, this kind of like dark alchemist person who shape changes through willpower alone, but you still got to like creature that you've got to fight with inside of you. Like all that sounds kind of cool, actually.
Yeah, I really think so. It's definitely got a lot of like even like serial killer vibes in it. Like
Yeah.
you've got
Yes.
like the Dark Passenger, you've got your
Yes.
Dexter.
Yeah,
And
you
you know
do.
what? I love it.
Yeah. I love it.
Okay.
Cool. So let me explain what I understand about these a little bit. So these are your families,
Okay.
and every lineage has a group of families. And now, the game presents like 6 or 7 families for you to choose between, but there are
Hmm.
more families within each lineage. Because families aren't necessarily like actual blood relations.
Hmm.
They're how you deal with being cursed.
Okay.
And in the sense of the primal, they also kind of define how you shape change.
Okay.
Um, but it's not necessarily set in stone that because, you were cursed by a hide, you're going to be a hide.
Okay. Interesting. So what are the family paths that I can choose from for this character?
So the hides are the family. So
Okay, so
you've
hides of the family. Okay.
yeah, the hides are the
Okay.
family. And so, if we read a little bit from the book,
Hmm.
the manuscript, the hides kind of say, "We are what's coming."
Yeah,
Uh,
they think that they're like the evolution of humanity, right?
a
And
little
that's
bit, right?
I've been watching a lot of X-Men 97, so this is also why I was like, all right, let's look at this.
Yeah, and it's you know, Dr. Jekyll went backward, picking out all the strongest, smartest, and most capable traits and applied them to us. Welcome to this curse. The side effects, well, they're unfortunate, but no experiment is without teething pains.
Speaking
They're
of teething
young.
pains,
Yeah,
love
they're
it.
young. They are overconfident. They chose the creature, right? They embraced the creature instead of having, like, I think a lot of the primals, the more I read about each of the families,
Hmm.
it seems like they all made a deal with this creature in a time of duress. Um,
Okay.
and that's kind of how they got started, right? Something was going on and they really needed help. And this creature spoke to them and they said, okay, I'll accept your help. But now they have this thing inside of them that every now and then wants to take over. And the hides were like, hey, I heard there was this weird creature. Maybe we can harness it for our own purposes.
All right, so that actually solidifies my character concept. I love that because when I was looking through character creation, one of the concepts was being an influencer, and I love the
Yes.
idea of somebody who took that step because they wanted to be famous or special.
Yeah. Very
You know,
cool.
it's a dark concept, and I think they probably really regret it.
Yes, probably. I mean, what's a good horror game without a little bit of regret?
I'm excited. I'm excited.
Yeah.
So going with hide, like a hide influencer.
Yes.
Um, okay, so family is done in terms of just picking. Then do we go lineage or role?
So lineage is already kind of picked for you because that's your primal path.
Okay.
And you kind of pick that before you pick your family because the families are within each
Okay, so
lineage.
lineage is primal, family is
Mhm.
hide. Okay. And then
Yeah,
role.
and then the role is do you want to be that influencer? That's a
Yeah, let's do
role.
we're gonna go influencer.
Yeah, all right. Now let's talk about what these roles get you.
Okay.
Um, so let's talk about uh, the lineage role first. And you have a choice to make right now,
Okay.
which is so Story Path Ultra does major and minor paths.
Mhm.
Uh, that kind of defines what you're most invested in, what you more identify with. For this game, it looks like you have two choices between a major
Mm.
and a minor path. Or essentially, you can't pick your role as your major path. You can pick your lineage or your family. So,
Okay.
do you identify more as just a primal,
A
or do you
family.
identify more with your family itself?
I think family. I think like Vin Diesel, it's all about family.
Okay. So that'll change a little bit about like the inheritance that you get
Okay.
and your path like attributes. So let's see. Let's start with lineage. So your lineage path is minor. So you're gonna get 1 dot to put into any mental attribute.
Okay, let's put it in.
And all
Let's
of
put it
these
in.
start at 1.
Okay, cool. So let's
Just like,
do every D10 system. Yeah.
yeah.
Let's do it in. Let's do it in intellect. Actually,
Okay.
let's do this Peter Parker style. Let's say that he was a
Sure.
scrawny nobody or something like that, and then we'll take it from there. Oh god,
Cool.
using Peter Parker as a touchstone is horrible for this. I love
It
it.
is horrifying and I love it. Um, so then you're going to pick a you get 2 dots to put in physical
Okay.
attributes.
Okay. So let's go into might and stamina. Let's bump those up because I think that's probably natural what comes out of this.
Right. And then you have 1 dot to put into social.
Probably, let's do a manipulation. Let's do that. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So now what?
Now you're going to assign 4 skill dots, and your skills are athletics, close combat, and survival.
Okay. So I have to assign those four inside of those three.
Yes.
Okay. So let's go. I don't think he knows how to survive at all. So I'm going to go 2 and 2, close combat and athletics. And survival, that's not who he is.
Perfect. All right. So as a primal, you get access to a wild form.
Mm-hmm.
So your wild form is essentially you can turn into kind of a it's the guru form. right? It's
Hmm.
the big, I am an inhuman amalgamation. I am a vessel for this creature.
Hmm.
So you
What
are,
does that look like with hides then? Because a Leica or a get of Leica would be like a werewolf, and like there's a raptor one that's like avian folk, right?
yeah.
So what does this look
So
like?
with hides, I imagine like the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde kind of look, where you get just kind of like bigger and
Hmm.
more like
So
muscly, but you
going from
still look like a person.
okay, so like Toby Maguire to like the Giga Chad guy.
Right, yeah.
Oh god, just the jawline.
Yeah,
I'm glad that when we playtest this isn't going to be costume because I don't think I can contour that much.
right.
Get a prosthetic.
Right, yeah. So yeah, like just a jaw to put
Just
on
a
your,
jaw, right? It's
yeah,
just a bucket that I've taped
yeah.
to the bottom. Or like a
Amazing.
McDonald's fry carton, just slide it on
Yes.
there. Yeah, let's go
Uh,
with Giga Chad for alternate appearance, just as a shorthand.
right, yeah. So you can transform as a reflexive action.
Mhm.
Um, to do so, you have to bleed a curse die. Now,
Okay.
I will explain curse dice in a minute, but just know that you gotta get rid of one to shift.
Mhm.
And you when you do, you gain all of the following benefits. You gain +1 enhancement to all physical actions. That stacks. But you gain +1 difficulty to all influence actions that are not intimidation because you're a hulking monster of a person. And then you gain +1 enhancement that stacks to defensive actions because you're faster and stronger.
Okay.
Um, People who see you may flip the fuck out because you're a monster
Mhm.
effectively. And you also, when you take actions while you're in this form, you get some complications. So if you are taking non-attack actions, and so if
Mhm.
you're doing, if you're attacking while in this form, the creature is happy with what you're doing and it's not trying to take over. But if you
Okay.
try to do anything that's not just maul something, the creature gets angry and wants to take over. And
Okay.
so if you're challenged, if you don't buy off the complication, the creature will dictate your next action. Like it takes
Ooh.
over and it says, no, you've got to attack. And then if you're trying to do a non-attack action when somebody you have a bond with has been hurt or even humiliated, you have a moderate complication to take an action.
Ooh. Okay. And is that specific to just primals or hides in
That's primals in general.
okay.
Every primal has to deal with this. The essentially, if you're challenged or if someone you love is in danger, the creature will try to dictate you must attack.
Okay. That makes sense.
So you have to fight against that instinct. You also have a benefit called primal sense because you have this kind of primal, um, well, you have primal senses, right? Like creature
Mhm.
is a an instinctual thing and it lends its instincts to you. So at the start of any scene, you can bleed a curse die to ask some question askers from your story
Mhm.
guide. So you can ask what here is the greatest threat, what here is more powerful than me, what here is weakest to me. Is anyone here hurt or suffering a disease? And then does anyone here have a strong bond to another person present? And we define a strong bond as 3 or higher.
Okay. That's really cool.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, being being cursed, there are drawbacks.
Fair. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now if you lean into any of these complications, is there a benefit? Like if
Um,
I guess
oh,
not because you're resisting and that's why it's trying to take over. So yeah, never mind.
right. Yeah. Yeah. You could just essentially not buy it off and then
Okay.
it's gonna, yeah. So
All
or
right,
you could
fair.
just attack and then you don't even have to worry about the complication.
That
Um,
sounds easy.
yeah. So you have a damnation.
Okay.
This is your curse. This is the true curse of being a primal. And the way that this works is anytime you have a pool of curse dice.
Hmm.
Curse dice essentially they replace your normal dice pool.
Okay.
So, you'll use a different color or you'll maybe roll them first and then roll the other ones, however you want to
Hmm.
do it. But the curse dice help essentially if whatever you're making a dice pool from, your curse dice replace dice in that dice pool. And so you can have a
Okay.
number of dice that are called curse dice in their own little pool that hang out, and you pick them up and use them to start building your dice pool. If you need 8 dice and you've got 4 curse dice, you pick up 4 curse dice and then
Hmm.
4 regular dice to make your dice pool of 8.
Okay.
If your curse dice pool ever reaches 0, the
Okay.
creature takes over. You always start with at least 1. And then there are ways that you can pick up more by leaning into things, and we'll talk about that in a second.
Okay.
Um,
And how do you lose them? Like, is
how do you
it
lose them? So, one, bleeding is losing. So, if you bleed 1 to change into your wild form, bleed
Mhm.
1 to ask a question, ask her from your story guide. Also, all of your spells require you to either be holding a certain number of cursed dice
Okay.
or bleeding a cursed die or 2 or more to utilize.
Okay. And
So, you take actions to build them up, and then you utilize the curse, as it were, to create effects.
that makes sense. It's kind of reminding me whoever wrote this might have seen some like Jujutsu Kaisen or something like that. A lot of cursed energy in that show. It's got kind of
Yeah.
like similar vibe. Interesting.
Yeah, yeah. So, while when you have 0 curse dice, you
Mhm.
immediately shift into your wild form,
Okay.
and everything you do has a minor complication that if you don't buy it off, the creature will dictate your actions.
Okay.
So this is essentially, I'm damned, I have to become this monstrous creature. I get all the benefits of it, but everything I do. So not just when I'm challenged, not just when somebody I love is hurt, but literally if I'm attacking, if I'm trying to run away, no matter what I'm doing,
If I'm tying my shoe, like
it doesn't matter.
yeah.
I'm constantly fighting off against the creature who's trying to take over.
Hmm.
The only way to resolve this is to gain more curse dice. And the way that you can satisfy it is by completing an action that imposes a uh, a status effect on
Okay.
your target. So the specific status effects that you have to inflict are aggravated wound, bleeding, destroyed reputation, taken out, or terrified.
Okay.
Um, so that will impose. That's what will uh, resolve this complication, this
Okay.
issue.
Interesting.
And then, if that's an inconvenience for you, which it probably should be, you can either gain a secondary curse die or a momentum after taking the action.
That's really cool. And I'm guessing that doing those conditions, like putting those status effects on people, might be a way to open them up to cursing eventually.
Yeah, probably.
Okay. So like the curse wants to spread. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So the other thing is that anything that you would have to do to resolve your damnation is a thing you can do voluntarily to earn curse dice.
Oh.
So
So you
now,
can just Hulk out to gain control in the long run.
right,
Okay. That's cool. I like that. I like that a lot. You got to have your meltdown moment. Go to a rage room and call it a day.
right, right. So you may just be like, "Hey, man, I've been doing a lot of magic. I got to go Hulk out for a little bit somewhere uh, to keep
Mood,
control over this."
mood.
Right. And then you're going to get torments.
Okay.
Torments are your momentum earners. So you're going to get one that is based on being a primal, and then you're going to get a personal one. So I'll tell you what your two options are for your primal, and then you can pick a personal one kind of based on anything. So the ones that are based on your being a primal is elemental fury. So when you are in your wild form and in combat, you can essentially the curse, your creature causes you to hyper focus on the biggest, most deadly target in the area.
Okay.
And when you do, you can't assist or interact with allies unless they're in the way, at which point you have to like be mean to them or push them out of the way.
Okay.
So they can't like get in your way and stop you from doing this.
Yeah. Big monster. Yeah. No, I feel it.
And if you give in to this, and so this is 100% you decide to trigger this. If you do this thing, you get a momentum.
Okay.
So the personal torment, you choose what the trigger is. So what it is that will cause you to do a thing, and the torment is something that should inconvenience you. So like if I see someone getting hurt, I will go protect them at all costs.
Okay.
And when you trigger that, you gain momentum.
Okay. So I don't know. Do you have either you or the chat? Do you have any good ideas for a personal one that would work for someone with a very fragile ego who is a primal? Like, what is that type of like? Because the first one that popped into my head when you were saying the protection thing is anytime someone gets praise that they could have gotten, they have to do something, right? That whole like, well, what about me type of thing. But I don't know if that's good enough. Do you have any ideas?
I'm gonna let the chat catch up with us because I know that there's a little bit of lag.
Someone just said, if someone insults me, I'll have to answer the insult.
Ooh.
That's not bad.
Yeah, that's not bad.
All right, you know
especially
what?
as an influencer, like making like influencer reaction videos because somebody insulted you.
Slap back. All right, done. Good one there. What is that? That's from Salosincilian. Salosincilian? Thanks very much. That's rad. If I pronounced that wrong, I'm sorry. And then, so there's only the one primal one, right? And that's the
that's it. Yeah,
the alpha.
Yeah. Well, no, so that was one of them. Sorry.
Oh,
that was one of them. You have another option. It's Predator's colors. Primal struggle to conceal their bestial natures at the best of times. Losing, making error, being mocked, or made to look a fool forces a primal to reveal their predator color. When your character appears weak through failing in action, taking damage, having a complication arise from or simply through roleplay, you can trigger this torment. Your primal immediately lashes out wildly, verbally, or physically, especially against people who are close to the character. Honestly, I feel like this is
what's that one called?
So good. It's called Predator's Colors.
Predator's Colors.
Yeah.
All right. That sounds good. I've got that one jotted down. I'll come up with something better than must clap back. I'll put that in scare quotes for now. I'll come up with that after this.
Sure.
Nice. Okay, cool. I like this.
Cool. So that's your primal lineage path. That's everything you get from it.
Nice.
As your minor path. Now we're going to talk about your hide path. So as a hide, you're going to, and this is your major path. You're going to get hold on, let me double check. As a major path.
Oh yeah, don't worry. Nobody's expecting you to memorize this manuscript. Like you just got this like a couple days ago.
Yeah. 6 skill dots to put into Enigma's leadership and science.
Okay. Well, 6 of them?
Yep, 6 dots to spread among those 3.
Okay, so let's go bam. And then in Storypath Ultra, leadership. What's normally used for like? So for the actual camera work, would that be leadership or would that be empathy more, or culture, or
You know,
artistry?
I think I think all of those could apply depending on what you're doing, right? I think for the, setting up the right angles and making the camera look nice is going to be artistry. But
Mhm.
like doing a call to action, getting people
Yeah,
to
that's a good point.
do the things, I think that's leadership. And then, hitting back in a cool way, that's probably culture, where like making a plea for, an apology video or convincing somebody of something. Um, Anything leaning on emotions would be empathy.
All right,
Yeah. So I
cool.
think it really just depends on what you're doing.
Nice. So what I think I'm going to do there is, and I'll share this on the Dork Tales Discord later. And if you want a copy for like the Onyx Path Discord, I'll send you this.
Sure. Yeah.
So I'll put it into, I'll put 3 into science because he was a nerd
Yeah.
beforehand and was really science focused. I'll put 2 into leadership because he's learning how to do these type of things. And I'll put 1 in enigmas because he's a nerd and he does know a lot of weird stuff and probably does, like crossword puzzles in his spare time, and I don't know what enigmas covers, like all sorts of stuff. So
Right.
he reads about things that are enigmatic.
Right. Um, so then you get 10 dots
Okay.
of attributes because this is your major path. So you're going to get
Okay.
5 mental dots.
Okay. Let's put 2 here. Let's put 1 here, and then let's put, I guess, the other 2 here. So I have taken intellect 4, cunning 2, resolve 3 on this character.
Okay.
And that's my total with the initial points and the initial boost.
Okay.
For physical, how many do you get?
3.
Oh, they're babies.
They're babies.
Okay, let's have dexterity 2, let's have stamina 3, and let's have might 3 when this is all said and done.
Okay. And you're going to get 2 dots in social. Don't worry, you're going to get social dots from being an influencer.
Oh, okay, cool. Fair. So let's go manipulation 3, and then let's go manipulation 4. He's real
so
good at twisting. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
He's meek.
He's meek. He's good at being manipulative. I love it. I love it. Okay. So now we have a major path inheritance that you get specifically from your family. Okay. So this is because it's your major path. So if you had picked your primal path as your major path, you would have gotten the primal inheritance. But you picked hides as your major path. So you're going to get this one. So when you're not in wild form, so outside of wild form, you can bottle a spell.
Oh, okay.
So essentially you can hang a spell. So you activate the spell and you bleed an additional curse die, whatever the activation of the power is. So if the activation is you have to hold a certain number of curse die, you activate it first.
Okay.
And then you bleed a curse die. So if you need to have 2 and you only have 2 and then you bleed 1, you've activated it already before you bled. Okay. So not a problem there. And then in the future, you can activate it for free as a reflexive action on your turn.
I love it.
If you're not in wild form.
Okay. And I'm guessing in wild form, you can't do any spells. You're not in the place for it.
Right. No. But when you're in your wild form, because you're a hide and you become, so in the non-wild form, you're science-y and you're like putting your spells in little bottles and doing potions. When you're in your wild form, you can't use your bottled ability at all, but instead all of your attacks gain the wrecking tag.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I'm going to wreck it.
Yeah. All right. Now we're going to get a couple of more things. You're going to get a motif. So A motif is how your family engages with the magic of the primals. So
Okay.
every family kind of engages with the magic a little differently.
All right.
So you have three options of motifs to start with, and
Mm-hmm.
you get to pick one of the three. So the options are you gain +1 enhancement when you cast a spell with the investigation attunement,
Okay.
either to cast the spell or as a result of the spell's effect.
Okay.
Um, when casting a spell with the psychic attunement, you bleed one fewer curse die to a minimum of 0,
Okay.
which means it's cheaper now.
Okay.
And if you are casting a spell with the physical attunement, you can bleed one additional curse die on the activation to apply the dread area effect to the area.
Oh, let's go with that.
Yeah.
That's just it's big.
Yeah.
I feel like primals should be like they're big, right? Like they create trouble. What's that one called?
They don't have names.
Okay.
Maybe they should. I don't know. I didn't write it.
Bleed for oh, to be fair. Bleed for more dread on physical spells.
Yeah.
All right. Got it.
Okay. And then I'll deal with the spell thing in a moment. Let's go
Mm-hmm.
ahead and do your influencer role path.
Sure. Let's see, I've got that right here from the document you sent me.
Mm-hmm.
So, path skills are culture, persuasion, and technology.
Mm-hmm.
And, oop. I forgot persuasion was a skill. And then you get, how many dots do you get for this part?
4.
Okay. 2 in tech. Uh, 2 in persuasion, and let's go none in. I mean, what does culture cover? Culture's all over the place, right? Like
Culture,
it's
yeah. I mean, yes and no. It's gonna cover like in other games, it would be like your streetwise. It would be your
your
like
etiquette, yeah.
your etiquette. It's also like your I know a guy somewhere down the street.
No, yeah, I think having culture 0 is probably good for this guy. He doesn't know which fork to use at a fancy restaurant. He doesn't know the difference between like Lou Bega and a Louis Vuitton. He doesn't know anything about the world that he wants to belong in.
Right. He's an influencer and he's not very good at it, but he's really good at persuading people.
And then his comments are just full of like, you got that part wrong. You got that part
Yes.
wrong.
Yes. So good. Cool.
Okay, cool. And then it looks like 3 social, 1 mental.
Yes.
Okay, so let's do mental first. Let's make him real smart. Let's get that intellect 5 going there, and then
Nice.
how much composure do I want? How much composure? I think so. I've got 3 to put in there, so I'll put 1 into composure, so a total of 2.
Mm-hmm.
Let's make him super manipulative, and then does he have? He's learned to have presence 2. Or should he
He's
have composure?
learned.
You know what? I'll say, yeah, he's learned. He learned it.
I love this. I love this so much. Like 5 manipulation, 2 composure, 2 presence. Like,
Right.
this guy is a walking red flag.
Oh yeah, no, seriously, he is a box of red flags and some black flags and like just all sorts. His only beige flag is that he knows how to program a VCR. Like that's
Amazing.
I hate this guy.
I hate him too. I love it. All right. So now we're going to do edges and spells.
All right, this guy's edgy enough, but let's go.
Okay, so let's start with edges. Edges define how your character is different from those around you. They give a leg up on competition, define aspects of your life that make you superior to others. So this is a little bit of advancement to your normal life. It makes you extraordinary and different. This may be something that you had before you were ever cursed, or something you had to do with special training. There are also supernatural edges, so it may be something that you gained
Okay.
from a family member or by dint of the curse.
All right. Cool.
And I don't know if you have ideas for those already, but you get this tells you how many you get, doesn't it?
Does it? You get...
Go 5 edge dots. Yes, it's literally
Okay,
in
so
bold at the beginning.
Oh, okay.
That's paragraph.
Well, that's good. So it's pretty easy to... So I'm going to take Nimble Defense because I think he's quick. And I'm basing this a little bit off Spider-Man. So and then I'm going to take Logical Leap.
Also good.
Then I'll take... Oh, I can't take Well Read because I don't... Well, nope, not enigmatic enough. I'll take... Unusually Secure Headquarters. Love it. Determined Silence. It's a feature? Some of these are cute. I love edges. I'm gonna take... I was looking at... I'll take Fame 1.
Sure.
For online circles. Because we all know YouTube. Oh, no, you can't take Fame and anonymity, can you?
No, you can't.
Yeah, you can't mix those. And you said that there were supernatural ones, right? Or
there
are those
are.
Mixed in?
They're literally underneath the investigation ones.
I don't know what Endless Fury is, but I'm gonna take it.
It's so good. It's so good. More ways for you to bleed curse dice.
Hey!
Because you definitely need that in your life. Okay, so let me just explain what you picked to the audience so that they understand. So Nimble Defense, when you take an initiative action, so normally initiative is just you roll to get some hits to determine who goes first. But you can use those hits for a special trick called Nimble Defense, which allows you to add those add enhancement equal to the number of hits spent on this trick to your first defensive action this round. So essentially it says, you know what, I'm not going to go first because I'm probably spending my hits, or maybe I am going to go first. Like my buddy had way more hits than me. I don't need these hits anymore, so I'm going to buy this trick. And this trick is that I'm going to...
Matrix dodging.
Yeah, matrix dodging, get enhancement on my first defensive action. Normally you can't buy tricks on enhancement on initiative because it's not actually an action. So this is a way for you to bank hits on initiative. So it's super cool. There's actually a couple of different edges that let you do different things with your initiative in that way.
I love it when mechanics like circumvent little glitches in the rules that you weren't expecting. You're like, wait a minute. So that's cool. I like it.
Is that a bug or is it a feature?
That's one of the ones in here though.
I know. Okay.
I love it.
So you're taking Fame.
Yeah.
And so Fame is a kind of a social edge. At your celebrity is local. It's confined to your town or city. It's a small following on the internet or a niche hobby, which is great for you. You're trying to become an influencer. Your fame is still very small. Everyone in those circles know you, and you gain enhancement to influence actions while engaging with people who know who you are.
Okay. Makes sense. And then beyond that, it doesn't apply.
No. You can't just disappear though, so you can never have the anonymity.
I can't just delete my account. People will know it's me.
Yeah. All right. So Logical Leap, which you took. So your mind leaps to correct conclusions even before you finish reviewing all the data. While making a research-based investigation action, you may spend a momentum to gain a lead rather than evidence as a result of a successful action. So normally you can spend a momentum to gain evidence. You can do that to gain a lead.
Nice. This is just ADHD.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yes. Absolutely. And then you took Unusually Secure Headquarters.
No, Endless Fury.
Oh,
I thought Unusually Secure Headquarters is a good line though. It's like,
well, but you took Fame. Yes, 1, 2, 3, and then these are the last two. So Endless Fury is you may bleed curse dice 1 for 1 to reduce. This is to reduce the difficulty of an action or a complication's severity equal to the number of dice exchanged. You cannot expend more dice than your curse dice tolerance, which I'll explain in a second. And you cannot reduce difficulty below 1, but you can reduce a complication severity to nothing and just like, so essentially you can just bleed off curse dice and just be like, oh, that was supposed to be hard. Nah.
Nice. I love it.
Nah.
I bet it looks pretty freaky too in practice, like
I bet
limbs warping and like,
yeah. You're just so angry.
Just
All
so
right.
angry. Just don't care.
So angry. Okay, so now we talk about spells.
Nice.
So if you go back to the primal document, there's some practices at the very bottom of it. So these tell you what practices you have access to. You have practice of mutable form, depthless fury, and the stranger.
Okay.
You have access to all 3 of these, and there are 5 essentially what are called foundation spells that allow you to do stuff. So, and this kind of gives you a basic idea of what those powers are. And if there's any that you're like, what are the mechanics for these? How do they work? I can tell them to you. I just didn't send you that whole document because it's big.
I bet. This is a lot to look over already, but this is cool. Yeah. So it looks like so I get access to all of them. Do I have to pick ones that I'm particularly adroit with or that I like, or just you get all of them?
You're gonna pick 3 spells.
Okay.
From this list of essentially 15 options. You also get as a starting spell a spell that is outside of your normal practices called Fluid Mortal Shape.
Okay.
And I will explain that also.
Okay. Well, why don't you explain that and while I'm like looking at this as well, and we'll multitask.
Yeah. Cool. So, open with that. All right. Oh, I love doing this. Okay, let me find it because it's in a different practice and I don't remember which practice it was in.
So I've got 2 picked out already of the 3. So I looked at a couple of them, and there's one called Silver Tongue, which I love for this character, and it's you influence others with lies and verbal manipulation.
Nice.
And then Scent of Danger is you give the fuck off vibe. You just exude, don't mess with me. And it looks like it just tells people that I'm too dangerous, I'm not worth it. For
nice.
That.
Nice.
And then I want to take one from the first one, the Practice of the Mutable Form, which is like the physical shape-shifting one. And there are a couple that are jumping out at me, but I'm curious if you have an opinion or if the chat has an opinion. One is Force of Nature, where you confer power advantage elemental tags to your attack. Then there's Impenetrable Skin, which is great because it's just, you get armor, which is pretty cool. Or Precise Transformation, where you dramatically alter one or more parts of your body. That seems like you could grow like, I don't know, claws. It's making me think of like Life 3 and Mage the Ascension, right? Like
yes.
You can do stuff like that.
Yeah, like I can grow wings and fly around or yeah.
Oh, hell yes. How about that? That sounds really gross and I love it.
Cool. Okay, Fluid Mortal Form does this. Fluid Mortal Shape. When you pay the cost for the spell, so you bleed a curse die, and you can shift your features into a new appearance. You can change your hair color, type and length, skin tone, features, height within a few inches, weight and build. You can't impersonate another person exactly, but you can create a false persona with a new appearance. While you are using this false persona, you gain +3 enhancement to actions to conceal your identity. This lasts for the rest of the session or until you choose to turn it off.
That's really cool. And I'm guessing that that also allows for just basic control over your body to any extent, including like any like musculature or physical
Yes.
features that are suggested.
Yes.
So that's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
All right.
Awesome. That was one of
Awesome.
my favorite powers in Werewolf the Forsaken, actually. The
Hmm?
one where I think it was a Gift of the Moon one, right at the
Yeah.
B in second ed.
So the
Real
way
cool.
that precise transformation works is that you adopt a bestial trait, and you're going to add two appropriate tags based on that. So if it's a combat thing, you're going to get two, pick two combat tags. And if it's claws or something like that, and if it's like you wanted wings, or but you choose when you do the transformation. You don't have to choose it right now. So if it is like I picked wings, then you may get like
Like flying tag or something like
right,
that.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a whole
Can you?
list, but I'm not going to go
Okay.
through them
Cool.
all.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. Totally. I've got some ideas for it, like Rocky Fists, or maybe something neurospinal to make you more flexible or
Right,
quick or something. Yeah.
right. And then you also picked Scent of the Predator,
Scent.
Scent of Danger,
Scent of danger. Yeah.
Scent of Danger. So you can activate this power. You just need to hold a curse dice. So this is not a bleed. This is just you have to have at least one in hand. You spend a simple action and it lasts for the scene. Anyone attempting to take aggressive action against you suffers a minor complication. If they fail to buy it off, they become terrified.
Nice. Okay. And then the last one was Silver Tongue.
Silver Tongue. Doop. So you can enhance. So again, you're going to bleed a curse die. Enhance an influence action based on lying, falsehoods, or other verbal deceptions. When you tell an absolutely flagrant and completely unbelievable lie, listeners cannot discern your lies from the truth.
I could run for office.
Even magical lie detection reveals that your statement has been enhanced by magic, but it does not reveal the truth.
All right, I'm pretty sure this guy isn't actually George Clooney's brother, but I can't prove it.
I can't prove it, so welp.
It's called it's Receipt Shredder, the ability. Oh, I love it.
Right. So now let's round out your character.
Perfect.
So you're going to get 4 more skill dots, and these can go into any skill. So if there's a skill that you wanted that your path didn't give to you, this is now you can put a couple of dots in there. You can put them in path skills. It doesn't really matter.
Sounds good. What? Remind me about Esoterica, because I never use it.
That's your like knowing about magic and doing magic shit.
Nah.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't know about magic. He doesn't know about it. Let's take close combat and athletics to 3 each, because he's very physical. He's probably like doing fitness blogging now. As well. Hey, do my lifestyle, take my supplements. And it was 4, you said?
Yeah, you got 4 dots. Yes.
I mean, let's do persuasion 3, leadership 3. Boom.
Perfect.
Done.
Boom. Perfect. Sorry, my dog is just in the window. It's very funny.
We're a dog stream, so like whatever works. This is basically dog tales.
Dog tales. I love it.
How many dogs do you have?
I have 2.
Okay, the other one's right behind you now too.
Yeah, you can see Klaus is there, and then we saw Oberon go past earlier.
Nice. Charlie's asleep on the bed right now, so
nice.
Otherwise, they love saying hi.
Yeah, they love to like come and start making noise the moment I'm doing anything. So here we are. So we got your 4 skill dots, and now we're going to determine contacts. And so the way that contacts work is you get you get 5 dots worth of contacts. You need to put at least 1 dot in a contact from each path. The max dots you can put into any contact is 3, because that'd
Okay.
be like 311.
Mhm.
But you could do 221 or yeah, those are your options.
Cool.
311,
All right.
221, just 5 points. That's how it shakes up.
Totally.
So the way this works is you're going to just kind of define their relationship to you.
Okay.
And you're going to give them tags, and they're going to have a number of tags equal to the number of dots that you have. And the tags essentially are the things that it's essentially like the actions that the contact is good at for you.
Okay.
So anytime you contact your contact and say, hey, can you help me out? They can do things for you, and they do so with 8 dice. Just boop, 8 dice.
Nice.
So if they fail, they fail. But if it is something that they have a tag for, they gain your dot rating in enhancement to the action.
Okay. So what are some? So I get one for being a primal, and then one for being a hide, and then one for being an influencer.
Yes.
Okay.
So it could
So
be like a family member. It could be somebody who trains you as a primal. It could be somebody you look up to within the hides.
do primals associate with each other?
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
across the spectrum there? Like a
Yeah,
Leica
they
would hang
sure
out with a
do.
hide?
Yeah, they
Okay.
sure do.
So okay. So what are some ideas for let's go macro and then move to micro. What are some ideas for like primal connections? Like, do you have any off the top of your head that could work for him?
I think
Because you've read this more than me, so
yeah, for your, big walking red flag guy who's super manipulative, maybe there's like a um somebody from let's pick uh, honestly, let's pick somebody who's a lot mm, I don't want to say a lot more influential than the hides are, but there are some that are a little more like social.
okay.
Uh, so let's pick the sphinxes.
Okay.
So there's someone in the sphinxes that your guy was like, I love them so much, and I'm not one, and that's okay, but I love them so much, and I want to be just like them. Please teach me everything you know.
Okay. So
And
a let's go with like a crush type thing. Like
yeah,
she's the unattainable one or something like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
And she's a cat person, so she's got the cat thing going on.
yeah.
Let's say what's a millennial name generator? Let's do it. Hipster baby name generator. Okay.
Hamster baby name generator.
I
Uh,
don't think all
oh,
millennials are hipsters, but all right.
no, you could name her like Candace or I don't know. What's a
Claudia.
what's a
No.
movie that came out in
Oh God,
the
in the
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 the ear
90s.
like in the 90s that a millennial would name their
Oh God.
or I guess in the 80s or 70s that like a parent would name.
Yeah, I guess you pick up the names in the 70s, you hang on to them for like 5-10 years.
Yeah.
So I think you and I are both probably like mid millennials,
Oh,
right?
Cher. Oh yeah, Cher, perfect.
Share.
Cher
Okay,
is being
share.
suggested, and I think Cher is so perfect.
Okay, and then we're gonna go with the last name Katz for now with a Z.
Sure, sure. Katz.
KATZ, like Dr. Katz, that
Yeah.
cartoon from like you know what I'm talking about.
Mhm. All right. And then
And then
for
for Hyde,
hides, maybe the maybe it's like an actual family relationship. Maybe it's like a brother or a cousin or
it's gotta be his aunt. It's got if we're ripping this off, let's rip it off. It'll be Aunt
sure.
June.
Yeah.
Oh, someone in the chat just Kolonaker just said Heather, and yep, if not Cher,
Yeah,
then Heather,
Heathers.
because
Yeah.
every person I grew up with was named Heather or Rachel,
I know so many Heathers who are like right around the same age as me.
right? Also Chris's. Any Chris derivative on Dork Tales, we have 5 of them
Oh my God.
in our
Matts. I
greater
know so
team.
many Matts
So
or
many Matts.
Matthew. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. All right,
Um,
cool. So now an influencer contact.
okay, so an influencer contact could be, oh boy. So he's got a very specific, so someone he does collabs with probably. Um,
Yeah. Someone with just as
so,
many red flags as him.
oh god,
Like,
I'm just thinking of the type of guys.
well, maybe it's like some P90X guy,
A P90X
right?
guy? Yeah, it's Joe
Yeah.
Rogan. It's just Joe
Yeah.
Rogan. God. All right, I'm just gonna randomize fake name generator, and it's Julian Starling.
Oh my God, that's like couldn't have been better.
That's the guy. That's the guy
That's
right there,
him.
officer.
That's
That's the
him.
guy that he's the guy that keyed my car.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so when we do this, now you need to determine how many dots each of them have.
Okay. Let's go 3 to Aunt June and 1 to each of the others because
Okay,
you got
cool.
to give it to Aunt June.
Okay, and then we're gonna pick some tags based on that.
Okay.
And so the suggested tags, and you can kind of make one up if there's not one here, but we've got quite a bit.
Sure.
Archive, so they have access to ancient esoteric lore.
Mhm.
Dangerous, somebody who can do some violent stuff for you. Fence, somebody who has, access to a, you know, illicit market. Influential, somebody who can get you into exclusive places. I feel like that's your Sphinx is going to have influential.
Influential? Okay.
Yeah. Um, Informant, somebody who can give you some information. Investigator, somebody who's good at finding evidence. Mentor, uh, kind of gives you story guide information. Money
Okay.
can give you large sums of money when you need it. Security can give you sanctuary when you need it. And sneaky can get you in and out of places unseen.
Okay. So, I'm going to take influential for Cheryl. I'm going to take money for Julian.
Sure. Yeah, that makes
And
sense.
Aunt June, I'm going to go with a security, mentor, and fence because Aunt June knows how to get rid of things.
Perfect. I love
Like
it.
Facebook
Yes.
Marketplace or something. Like
Yes.
she can sell it. And she doesn't talk about how she does it, but maybe she probably used to sell weed back in college in the 60s. You know? Like
Yes.
she just knows people.
Like, fuck, not even weed, just like cocaine.
Oh,
Like
okay,
it
cool.
was
Yeah,
the
yeah.
70s. Yeah.
It was
It
the 70s.
was the
I don't
60s
know
and 70s.
where's this gonna be set if this is New York. Yeah, that's fine.
That's fine. Yeah. I mean,
I love it.
it could be in Milwaukee. I mean, like people had cocaine everywhere.
This is true. People have cocaine, we're not gonna get into it, but the number it's then I used to do security sometimes for like all age events, and the number of 16-year-olds that just show up with cocaine, and you're like, where do you know
How?
how to get this?
I know there was a girl in high school that I went to high school with that who had like was addicted to cocaine, and I was like, I don't even know how you're getting this. Who do you
It's not
know?
cheap.
It's not. And
It's
well, I mean,
it's
she was a
I
rich
mean, I guess it's
kid, so
getting
I
cheaper
mean,
now, but like anyway.
yeah.
What was that?
I said she was a rich kid, so
Oh, she was
like,
a rich
and
kid.
that's
Yeah, yeah.
it. They're rich kids. Drugs are a rich kid problem.
We just people like us, we just gotta huff paint out of a paper bag, Like we gotta do it
We got
economical.
we gotta do whippets or something.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
So the very last thing we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about your entanglement. So your entanglement is in your health and defense, which is just you. You have
Yeah.
defense 1, integrity 1. You can roll stamina for defense. You can roll resolve or composure for integrity. And then you have 7 injuries made up of 3 injury levels, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
All very standard story path ultra stuff. Entanglement. Let's talk about entanglement.
Okay.
Entanglement is your connection to the curse. It is how well you have control over the curse, and it is how strong uh, the curses it's how well you have control and can use it to influence the world around you. Entanglement is rated from 1 to 10.
Okay.
You're going to start at 1.
Okay. That was easy. Cool.
Easy.
Done.
You have it determines how many curse dice you have.
Okay.
So let me get to curse dice. So you can hold up to 5 curse dice.
But I can only spend 1 per round. Or
No.
bleed.
You can
Oh.
bleed as many as you want in a round.
So Entanglement 1 means I have 5. Okay.
Yep.
So
Entanglement. Yeah. So Entanglement is like your power rating.
Okay.
So there are things that will say like, oh, this affects based on your entanglement or your, entanglement rounded down or something like that. Your entanglement is set at 1. That your curse dice threshold, the maximum number of curse dice that you can have at any one time is 5.
Okay.
As you grow in entanglement, that also increases, which means you can accrue more curse dice, which means that you can essentially have more time doing things before you have to do stuff to regain curse dice.
Okay.
So let's talk about how you get curse dice. You start the game with 1.
Okay.
If you bleeding curse dice is essentially removing them from your pool.
Okay.
When you do that, if you go to 0, you're going to deal with your
Raging.
damnation. Yeah. So how do you get more? So you can do it in the following ways. You can gain a curse die when you fulfill an obligation to your family or role path. So if they come to you and say, hey, I need you to do XYZ thing because, we're family or we're friends, you can fulfill that obligation to get a curse die. If you give in to either your personal or lineage torment, you'll gain a curse die. You'll gain a curse die the first time in a scene when your entire crew comes together to solve a problem or deal with a situation. So essentially, like if you're playing the game and the scene is like, oh man, we're all in the same space and we're about to throw down, everybody gets a curse die. Just a little bump to be able to deal with the situation. If you enter a place of deferment, places of deferment are places that are supernaturally neutral.
Okay.
If you have no curse dice, you will gain a curse dice. So this is a way to gain curse dice. Normally, you can't gain curse dice until you if you have 0, you're dealing with your damnation. Whatever your damnation is, while you're dealing with it, you normally can't take any of these actions to gain a curse die other than the action prescribed by your damnation. But you can go to a place of deferment and get a curse die. It does not resolve your damnation, though. It just gives you a curse die.
All right. Sounds good.
This is kind of GM specific, but if you do something to exemplify your family's themes, then you can gain a curse die. And then, of course, if you take the action you would need to take to resolve your damnation, you can gain a curse die. So you can gain curse die in various different ways.
Mm-hmm.
You bleed curse dice to cast spells that require it, to enact curse binding, and you can just bleed curse dice in a place of deferment to give them to your friends.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. And then other things, like you have a couple of different ways to spend curse dice, both in your edges and for being a primal. All the lineages have a different way, like bleed a curse die to do this thing. So, but those are the very common ones. Some spells require it. And then curse binding. Let me talk about curse binding really quickly. Curse binding is essentially when you take an action against another person. It doesn't matter what the action is. It could be a spell, it could be attack, it could be an influence action. You can essentially put the curse behind it by bleeding a curse die. And you can choose to do this after you have made the roll and seen how many hits you've gotten.
Okay.
So when you bleed that curse die, there's a bunch of different curse binding tricks that you can purchase that essentially curse the person.
Okay.
If that person has ever been cursed in this way before with a curse binding, or they are cursed themselves, like accursed, before you can buy those hits, you essentially have to do a clash against each other. You're both going to make esoterica rolls,
Oh no.
and add your entanglement to it.
Oh. Yay, one. No.
Yeah. Well, I mean, esoterica is esoterica plus an attribute. You get to pick which
Yeah.
attribute based on what you're doing. So, plus your entanglement. And then, if you succeed, then you get to apply the curse. If they succeed, then they resist the curse. And if they succeed and have extra hits, there's a couple of tricks that they could purchase on counter cursing.
Okay.
So I'm just going to tell you a couple of the effects that you can pick. So you can, for curse binding, oh man, this is cool. So you can essentially make somebody sick, give them an infection that they can't get rid of. You can curse an area.
I feel like that's definitely the MO here.
Yeah. But
Gross.
You could just choose any of these. You can make them unlucky. There's an unlucky status effect, and you can throw that on them.
Nice.
When you're at higher entanglement, you can just pass your damnation on to other people.
Does it stay with you at all, or does it leave you and jump to them permanently?
No, you can't get rid of your damnation that easily. And this is your damnation. Essentially, you have made them a curseborn. You have made them an accursed. You have turned them into whatever it is you are.
Do you have to consciously do that, or can it happen accidentally?
Yes. No, that one has to be like specific. You can steal curse dice from them.
Oh.
So you can curse bind somebody by, you can essentially make them forget whatever you just did to them. You can make them, you can destroy their reputation. And you can, what's this other one? Oh yeah, you can destroy, like essentially you can nullify one of their bonds. So like, yes, you and your wife hate each other now, or to have no emotional attachment. Sucks to be cursed.
How long does that last?
For the whole session.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Let's break up some marriages.
Yeah, right?
Get some people fired.
Right?
Right.
So
great.
Curse dice also have some other benefits. So anytime you're rolling, anytime you roll for any action, you're always adding your curse dice into that pool if you have any available. If any of those show a hit, you can choose to use those hits to buy special curse tricks, curse dice tricks. So you can form a bond with somebody. You can gain additional evidence exclusive to a supernatural sense. You can extend the range of an attack. Essentially, you can, because the curse is on your side, you can kind of modify your action in small ways. And they're all just mostly one hit tricks, so they're kind of small. But yeah, you can essentially, if it is, but you've got to use the curse die hit for it. And if you roll a pool containing curse die and it succeeds and any of the curse dice are showing hits, yes, you can buy tricks with them, but you also get what is called a wicked success, which is a narrative consequence. And then if your roll fails and any of the curse dice are not hits, so it could fail because you just didn't meet the difficulty, right? But if your curse dice don't have any hits on them, you get a cruel failure, and that is again a narrative problem.
So it seems like these are yes but and no but.
Yes.
Or no and.
Yeah, no and yes but. And so essentially both of those it's always narrative consequences that could draw more story to you, because the curse, you are cursed. You are just a cursed entity. And so every time the more you wrangle with the curse, the more you hold on to it, the more likely it is that it's going to warp and shape and influence your life in ways that you maybe don't want it to.
I like that. I like that a lot. That's the type of, if especially for like horror games or games with
Yes.
like horror themes, at least, like
Hmm.
that's what I want. I want, hell, I want any dramatic failures. I want any drama that we can inject. This is awesome. I like this.
Cool. Perfect. All right. Well, that's it. You have made a primal character.
I have. Just need to come up with a name for this
I
guy, which
was about to say, what's his name?
I wasted Julian Starling on someone else.
No, yeah, it was so good, but
Okay,
he's
hold on.
perfect for your dude bro friend.
Yeah, no, so millennial name, actually Gen Z names with alliteration.
Oh,
Let's see.
alliterations. I like that.
Oh, wow, a lot of Z's. 20 male. They're all Z. They're. I typed in Gen Z and it
gave you Z names.
It
Yeah.
just gave me Z names. So let's see. There's Zachary Zane, Zane Zephyr. No, he's not that bad. Let's see. Make it. Okay, hold on. 20 male names with alliteration. Let's go. Okay, so Mason Mitt. Why are they all M's now? Maddox Maxwell, Mario Martinez, Magnus Manning. These are good names. Miles Morales. Miles Morales is right here. No, I know. It's awful. I'm sorry. Let's go with what's top names, top Gen Z names. I'll just use the first name. Michael Ashley. He's probably not Ashley.
What about
Parker is a first name.
Tom Turner?
Okay. That's too close to Time Turn.
How about Maxwell something? I like Maxwell.
Okay, Maxwell.
And he can go.
Tell you
by
what,
Max.
let's put a pin in this, and I'll have something for the first game.
Sure. Yeah. Who says
Max
we're playing
Mitchell.
a game? Oh yeah, we are. We're definitely playing a game.
We're definitely playing this. I'm not going to let you not run something for this.
Okay, so I'm going to hold off on creating character bonds because we'll want to do that with other. Oh, Maxwell Murphy. Who suggested
Maxwell
that?
Murphy. Perfect. I'll put that in for now. That's going to be a temp.
Yeah. Okay. Murphy Maxwell.
Murphy Maxwell. Oh, that's the worst.
Yeah.
Maxwell Murphy. I love it.
So we'll do bonds as a group, but what I do want you to do is I want you to think about your character's aspirations. So you get 2 short-term aspirations and 1 long-term aspiration. And of course, these aspirations are things you want to see your character do, within a session or 2 for short-term, within a session or 2 for long-term. And I mean, that can be also, we'll probably go over those during the first session, just because I think the aspirations make a little more sense once you know what your connections are with everybody else.
Cool. All right. So I've got some temp ones already. So I think that's pretty good. So hit 100,000 followers.
Nice.
Go on a hot date, whatever that means. And long-term presently is buy Aunt June a house.
Okay.
So he's got a little bit of altruism there. Like he wants to, he's taken the bad steps for the good end. But unfortunately, the means never justify.
Cool. I love it.
Or do we want something darker? Anyway, that'll work for now.
I think that's fine. It's already kind of dark.
Yeah, that's true. Nice. Wait, thanks for making time to go over this with me.
All right. This was good. I liked it.
I hate this guy, but I really want to give him a try. I want to see what he can do.
Oh, good. We
All right.
got we got like 62 people who watched this. That was kind of cool.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But so if people like this, where can they find out? Are you going to be sharing this around with other people, or am I the only cursed person that they get to
I
meet?
think tomorrow I'm going to be making another character with somebody.
Oh, nice.
I think it is, who am I making a character with?
So that'll probably be shared on the Onyx Path's Twitter or Blue Sky or
Yes,
Facebook, right? Or in the Discord.
Devil's Luck Gaming, which is
Oh,
also the what is it now? They're not Devil's Luck anymore. They're Fiendish
something.
Foundations.
Fiendish Foundation, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely check that out. And yeah, I really look forward to when we finally get to sit down and roll some dice about this. See what Maxwell's like.
Yeah.
I don't want to see that. But thanks for coming on, Dee. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, this was great. Thanks for sitting through this with me, and
No, it was fun.
thanks everybody for listening. I hope that you got something out of this, and we'll see where this goes. I'm excited.
I'm excited too. Thanks
All
very
right.
much for tuning in, folks. We'll see you later. Bye,
All right.
everybody.